So thank you all for joining me this evening. We're going to do 45 minutes of kind of chilled out yoga, in the sense of we're not going to be flowing too much on the mat. We're just going to be holding poses for a little bit longer, and we're really working from kind of our waist downwards. So we're looking to open up with our hips, our glutes. The focus kind of this practice is to help any runners out there. So kind of open up bits that might be feeling a little bit funny after maybe doing a few too many rounds recently. So to start, we're actually going to start on our block. So if you want to just bring your block or your hardback book and just sit on it, just so that your hips are slightly higher up. And then we ideally want our knees to be lower than our hips. So if you need to put two blocks on top of each other, that's fine. And then you just bring one foot in and then bring the other foot, just so your heels are kind of roughly lined up. If this isn't possible for you and you just need to sit in a normal cross-legged position off the block because you are a little bit tight to the hip, that's absolutely fine. So we're just going to take a couple of shoulder rolls here. Inhale to rise the shoulders and exhale to roll them away, just so that we take a couple of moments right at the start of practice just to be present here. Just to commit to our practice this evening. And know that for the next 45 minutes, all that matters is that you're here and you're moving your body. And just bringing your right hand just onto your tummy. So right now, keep your tummy nice and soft for this. And bringing our left hand onto our heart. And again, if you want to continue doing those rolls, if you need to get your shoulders away from your ears, if maybe you just finished working at your desk, you're welcome to do that. And then we're going to close down the eyes, or we're going to soften our gaze. Just taking a couple of breaths here. And you can sigh out any exhales. Just releasing anything from your day. Talk about in yoga, with every exhale we release something that no longer serves us, so whether that be a tension in the body or the mind. And as we are going to be working into our legs and deep into those hip flexors and into our glutes, we really want to build up this awareness of our really deep inside our body. So I'm just going to guide you through a pranayama, and pranayamas are breath techniques. Prana is the movement of energy through our body, and we get our energy from our breath. So I'm going to talk you through a really fun pranayama called bumblebee breath. So I'm just going to do a round or two by myself. So you're going to take a deep inhale, and on your exhale, with your lips closed as if you're humming, and as you want to make a nice bumblebee sound right at the top of your nose in between your eyebrows. So inhale in. And you'll find it'll really lengthen out your breath, and it'll bring your awareness really deep inside, and in your head it'll literally sound like there's a bumblebee in your head. So even though we're not practicing together, we're all going to take an inhale together, exhale out a sigh, and we're going to do 3 rounds of that. So deep inhale, fill up all your lungs, close down your mouth and breathe out, making that humming noise. Deep inhale. One more time. And then when you're finished, just turning your palms up towards the sky. And just feeling the vibrations that pranayama created in your body. And then slowly just blinking the eyes open and lifting your gaze. And just if you sat up on a block, just removing your block. And you're just going to come to lie on your mat here. And make sure that you have your strap or your belt nice and handy. We're going to bring our right knee in towards our shoulders, not in towards our chest, in towards our shoulder. And with all the movements we're going to do on our back, you're welcome to keep the opposite leg planted, or if you have the openness there, you can reach that left leg out. You can give it a try, and if it's too much, you can plant it back down. So pulling that knee in towards that shoulder. And just starting to feel some tiny movements in our hips. And then holding onto your knee, we're going to do some circles here. So circling anti-clockwise, so bringing your knee out from your body, and then bringing it back in towards your belly button, up towards your shoulder, and out from your body, and then changing direction. So clockwise to your shoulder, to your belly button, towards your opposite knee, and then out to the side. And if at any point you feel like it's a little bit sticky, you're welcome to go back and forth over that bit, keeping that left hip nice and grounded. And then just lifting your right knee up so that your foot is parallel to your knee, and then letting your knee drop out to the side, and just using your hand just on the outside edge of your knee to support it. It's likely it won't go very far. Keeping that nice right angle in your knee, keeping that left hip grounded. Just breathing into where we're starting to open up. Taking one more breath here. And then inhaling your knee back through to center. And then we're just going to grab our strap or your belt or whatever you have handy. And you're just going to loop the strap just over the arch of your foot. And then making sure your strap is equal length, you're going to hold onto your right with your right hand and your left hand. And then we're going to straighten our leg up towards the sky. So really plug that right hip bone into your hip. And you want to flex the foot here. So pushing with the heel, the toes are going to come towards your knee. And then seeing how this pose feels, and keeping that hip really cemented down, just lightly, it might only be millimeters, let that knee drop towards your face. And you don't want to completely lock out that leg. So if you lock out that leg and it starts to feel really pinchy, it's probably causing a nerve stretch, which we don't want to do. So maybe a slight bend in the leg, and you'll feel an even bigger opening in your hamstrings. And keep breathing into your belly here, grounding your shoulders down. And then taking the strap into your right hand, and then bringing your foot, if you brought it towards your face, bringing your foot so it is at a right angle to the floor, holding the strap in your right hand, and you're just going to let that right foot start slowly drop out towards the right hand side, keeping that left hip nice and anchored. And again, if it moves only a couple of inches and that's all you need to feel it, that's absolutely fine. Keep pushing out through that heel. Getting into the inner seam of our quads here. And still working a little bit on our hamstrings. Just like I said at the start, with every exhale we get rid of something we don't need. So with every inhale we bring in what we do need. And if what you need right now is a little bit of relief in this stretch, breathing into that opening. We want to have a slight element of discomfort here as we are stretching, but we shouldn't be feeling pain. If you feel pain at any point, just come out of the pose and go back into it, but a softer variation. Taking one more breath here, and then exhale by using your leg. So try not to pull it with the strap, using your muscles in your leg, pulling it back through to center. Taking the strap in your left hand this time, making sure your leg is parallel to the ground. Or as at a 90-degree angle as much as you can. And now we're just going to let our leg slightly come over to the left. Now this is likely will only move a couple of centimeters here, just so you can feel a stretch in your calf muscle and maybe a little bit onto your IT band on your right hand side. Again, plugging that hip into your right hip, keeping that right hip nice and grounded. And the belt is just there for support, so you shouldn't be holding on for dear life with the belt. If you are, just ease off slightly. The belt's there just to help our leg move in the direction we want it to. Taking one more breath here. And then inhale again, using the muscles in your legs, pulling it through the center, then bending your knee and bringing both feet, if you straighten your left leg, onto the mat. And then we're going to cross our right ankle so it comes just above our left knee. So we're coming into a figure 4 shape and flexing your right foot still. So flexing those toes towards your knees. And then you can walk your left foot just slightly closer to your hips here, letting that right knee drop down. And if this is enough, you can stay here, or you can pick that left leg up, bring that left knee in towards your body, and then grab behind that left thigh. So being active in this stretch here, so constantly thinking about sending your right knee forward, left knee towards your face. You get a nice opening in the right hip here. And we're just going to start doing some circles with our ankles here. So just like we did the circles with our hips, we're just going to start circling out our ankles. Keeping our ankles really, our feet really engaged, just spreading those toes out. We don't often give attention to our feet and our ankles, yet we use them every single day. And then coming to stillness, and then we're just going to flex our toes and then point our toes. Just do that a couple of times. You might feel a couple of clicks and pops in your ankles. Keep that left knee towards your right knee away, opening into that hip. And then bringing your feet just back to a comfortable position. Taking one more breath here, maybe taking it slightly deeper for these last couple of seconds. And exhale, bring that left foot down to the mat. And then you're just going to pick your hips up and just move them maybe an inch over to the right, and then let that right foot drop down to the left hand side so your right foot comes onto the mat. So we're in a twist here. And then straightening that right arm out to the side. And if you want, with your left hand, you can hold on to your right ankle and almost slide that right ankle up towards your left hip. Just increasing the stretch in our right glutes and across the bottom of our right back. And sending that right knee up towards the sky. Keeping that activation of as if it was drawing towards the front of your mat. Keep breathing into the space that you're creating in your body. One more deep inhale here, and then exhale, using your core, bringing your feet back through the center, and then placing your right foot onto the mat. And then swapping it up so we can feel that nice opening on our left hand side. So bringing our left knee in towards our shoulder, and again the option is there. You can keep your right foot planted on the mat, or you can straighten out your right leg. And if you want to clasp your fingers behind your left knee to help the resistance, you can. We don't want to be pulling too hard here. We want to just make sure there is that element of resistance. Working with our own body weight and with gravity. And then starting to bring some circles in. So circling your hip one direction, and again if you find any sticky points, you're welcome to stay there. And then maybe changing direction, maybe making your circles even bigger or keeping them nice and small, whatever your body's telling you it needs. So your knee will come out to the side, it'll come up to your armpit, across your belly button, then back down. And just make sure you are changing direction every so often. And then coming through the stillness, and then picking your foot up so it's a 90-degree angle to your knee. And then again, bringing your hand to the outside edge of your left knee, and then just opening your left knee out towards the left hand side. Bringing your right hand just onto your right hip, just so you make sure you're not lifting that hip off the mat. This might only be a couple of inches for some people, and that's absolutely fine. You might slowly start to feel those layers of tension start to melt away as your body eases in. And then your next inhale, bringing that foot back up to center, placing your right foot back onto the mat just for a second, and then placing the strap over the arch of your left foot here. And then grabbing the strap with your left hand and your right hand, toes are coming towards your face. Really glue that hip into its socket, and then if it's comfortable for you, let that left leg drift down towards your torso. Remember, the strap is there as a guide. You don't want to be pulling hard in your left leg here. Hips are glued down to the mat, pressing the small of your back into the mat. So feel the small of your back rising up, push it back, and maybe let your leg move further away. And if your toes are starting to fly out to the left hand side, back out a little bit and bring your toes so that they're dead center. Taking one more breath here. Then exhale, bringing your leg back up so it's 90 degrees if you can with the mat. And then letting your left leg drift out towards the left hand side. Opening into the inner seam of your left leg. Again, if you want to bring your right hand to your hip, just to make sure that you're not rising up out of the right hip here, you can. Feeling the sensations as your body slowly starts to open and slowly starts to expand. Taking one more breath here. Then on the exhale, using your leg, don't pull it with the strap, coming through the center. And then just finding that midpoint again, pardon me. And then taking the strap this time into your right hand, and then letting your foot just drift slightly out to the right hand side, just so you can feel the opening. We don't want to take it too far. We just want to take it so we feel a nice stretch along our IT band, which is a nice bit of tissue that runs along the outside edge of our leg and stretch into our calf muscle. The IT band is a bit of a buzzword for those running folk. But it's important that people think my IT band is tight. It is important that you stretch it and you add a little bit of mobility to it and you give it a little bit of love, but it's also important that your IT band is also tight. Just giving it a little bit of attention. And then inhale, using your leg coming through the center, crossing your left knee just below, your left ankle just below your right knee. Coming into our reclined pigeon. So if your right foot's on the floor and you're feeling the opening, that's absolutely fine. Or you can pick up your right knee, bring it in towards your chest, and maybe grab behind your left thigh, pulling that right knee in, left knee away. So an active stretch here. This action of push and pull will really allow those deep fascia to open up. And then just like the other side, just starting to add some movement into your ankles. So starting to circle them around, maybe flex and point your toes, just making movements that you're giving some attention to the sole of your foot and into your ankles, and then into all those little bones in your foot. My foot is cracking and creaking and making a lot of strange noises. Keeping active in that stretch. And then just coming to stillness with your feet, dropping your right foot onto the mat, shifting your hips slightly over to the left hand side so you can drop your sole of your left foot over towards the right. So the left knee's pointing directly up to the ceiling. And you can keep your gaze neutral, or you can look over your left shoulder. And just like the other side, if you want to increase the stretch in your left hip and left glute. Just grab your ankle with your right leg and almost slide it up your right leg so it's closer to your right hip here. So opening across the bottom left corner of our back and into our hips and into our quads. Often people think supine twists, which are twists that we do while on our back, are purely just to wring out the spine, but ones like such as this one with the pigeon legs really allows us to get deep into our hips. Taking one more breath here. And then exhale, using your core, bringing your feet back through to center. And then we're going to bring both feet up towards the sky, flexing your toes down towards your face, and then bringing your knees in towards your shoulders, and then grabbing the outside edges of our feet, or even just grabbing behind the thighs, just depending on how open you're feeling. Coming into a happy baby pose. So we want to send our knees away from each other, so opening up our knees and keeping our tailbone down, so if the bottom of your back starting to rise up, just easing out of the posture slightly. Keeping those feet nice and flexed. And then we're going to bend our left leg so our heel comes in towards our bum, and as we do that we straighten our right leg. Getting a nice stretch in our right hamstrings here. Keep flexing those toes. And then swap it up. Right heel comes in towards our bum, opening our left leg out. And then inhale, coming back through into our happy baby pose. And then just bringing your knees in towards your chest, giving yourself a wee cuddle. And then taking some rocks in the back if that's suitable for you. Just coming forward, crossing at the ankles and coming into a forward fold. So feet are going to be hip width distance apart. Our head is like a counterweight to our hips. So as our head comes down, our hips come up, so our tailbone and our sit bones are shining up towards the sky. You'll feel our hamstrings are engaged here. Bringing your hands onto your shin. Inhale to halfway lift, so nice flat back shoulders in line with your hips. And exhale to forward fold. We're going to heel toe our feet so that our feet are mat width apart here. And turning our toes so that our left toes at 10, our right toes at 2 o'clock. And inhale, rise up. So nice and wide here. And then exhale, bringing your hands through to heart center. And we're going to send our bum back and we're going to sink it down into a squat. Now, if you want, you can grab your block here and you're welcome to sit on your block because we're going to hold this for a little bit. So if you can, bring in your elbows in to the inside of your knees and actively pushing those knees apart. And then placing your left hand either on the floor or just to the left hand side, peeling our heart open to the right, really pushing that left knee out, being active with the stretch. As you push that knee, it pushes back into your arm. Then inhale through to center. This time right hand down, so right elbow inside the right knee, peeling the heart open to the left. Then inhale through the center and exhale, forward fold, get out of it. Keeping your feet nice and wide, we're going to step our right foot back, bringing our right knee down towards the earth, untucking our toes, placing our right hand onto the mat, so our left leg is still right at the edge of our mat here, peeling our heart open to the left hand side, coming into a lizard twist. So left knee comes back, right hip sinks down towards the mat. And imagine you can drag that left foot back and that'll lighten up your hamstring. Taking one more breath here. Then exhale, bringing your hands down to the mat, bringing our left knee back to meet our right. Pulling our tummy in and up. Inhale, shoulders over your wrists. Exhale, keeping your elbows in nice and tight, lowering all the way down. Untucking your toes. Hands are going to be directly under your shoulders. Inhale, roll your chin and your chest forward. Into cobra, squeeze those elbows together, ground down through the feet. And then exhale, we're going to push up into our all fours again. We're going to lift our right leg behind us, toes are going to face down towards the ground. And then spin our right foot so it's in line with our hips, placing our right foot onto the mat, rising up so our right leg's nice and straight, coming into gate pose. So we're going to bring our right hand down our right leg and reach out to the left hand side. And just taking a few breaths in this pose, actively pushing all four corners of your right foot down to the mat, feeling a nice opening on our left hand side. And then coming through to center, placing both hands on the mat. We're going to lift our right foot back so it's directly behind us. And we're going to just, using our left knee as a pivot, pick up your left foot, turn slightly, and then place your left foot so that your left toes are pointing towards 7 o'clock. And then we're going to come in to supported side plank here. So our left leg literally like a little kickstand. Our right toes are going to point directly to the right hand side. Inhaling here. And then exhale, slowly bending your right leg so your knee is coming in towards your chest. And then if you can, place that right foot to the edge of your mat. So we're coming into a lizard variation on the other side now. Placing that left hand down, peeling your heart open to the right hand side. Right hip back now, left hip sinks down. And think about that dragging action with your feet on your right leg and the right foot, and that'll lighten up your right leg. Taking one more breath here. And exhale, bringing your hands back down towards the mat. Right knee back to meet left. Inhale, shift your weight forward, pull your tummy up. Exhale, lowering all the way down to the mat. Untucking your toes. Inhale, roll your chin and your chest forward, grind down through your toes into your cobra. And then exhale, pushing onto all fours here. Lifting our left knee directly out to the left hand side. Straightening our left leg, our toes are going to face the front of the room. Placing that left foot down, rising ourselves up. So our left leg nice and straight. Our right hip is bent. Then inhale, sweep that right arm over. Coming into gate pose. So you might feel an opening on the outside of your left leg here. Taking one more breath. Then exhale, bringing your hands down to the mat, picking up your right foot so you're on your right knee, and then just spinning slightly so your right toes are coming out to 4 o'clock. Grinding down through your hands, pick your left foot up, swing it back behind you, coming into a supported side plank on the other side. So as if someone was tickling your right waist, you want to lift your right waist up, reaching out to the left hand. Taking one more inhale here. And then exhale, bringing that left knee in towards your chest, and if you can, with control, placing that left foot down onto the mat. And we're just going to heel to our left foot so it's right in the center of the mat now. Tucking your back toes, we're going to pick our legs up. We're going to come into a runner's lunge and really push out to that right leg. I want to be light on our fingers here, so don't dump all your weight into your fingers. We want to be light in that right leg, and that'll keep our chest nice and light. Taking a couple of breaths in our runner's lunge. Then exhale, hands down, bringing our knee back down. And we're going to rise up into our low lunge here. So that same action we were in our lizard, of that idea of pulling your left leg back. Right hip comes forward. And then if you have your block handy, just placing your block just to the inside, so your big toe side of your left foot. And you're going to pick up your right foot so it comes in towards your bum. And then we're going to bring our right hand to that block, left hand is going to reach back and grab hold of that right foot. And if it can't reach it, that's absolutely fine. So you want that action of pulling that foot in towards your bum and your left chest opening. Finding a nice opening in your right hip here. And then exhale to release it down. Just placing your block to the front of your mat. We're going to pick up back into that runner's lunge, and then we're going to walk our hands round to the right hand side, turning all 10 toes to the right hand side, coming into a wide-legged forward fold. So your toes are going to face slightly further in than your ankles. Inhale here to halfway lift, and then exhale to fold your chest over your legs. And you want to think about sending your weight more into the balls of your feet than your heels, and that will really light up the back of your legs. Just taking some deep breaths here. And then inhale to halfway lift. We're going to walk our hands over to our right foot here. We're going to pick up our right foot, so we're on our right toes, and then we're going to sink our bum down towards our right heel, and as we do that, our left leg will spin so our knees face up towards the sky. So deep bend the right foot, right bum comes down to your heel, left leg's going to point directly to the sky, and you're going to flex your toes. Just getting a deep opening all in the inner seam of our leg. Taking a deep breath here. And on your next exhale, we're going to swap that up. So we're going to come to the other side. So we're going to come back into our wide-legged forward fold, pick up our left toe so our heel is lifted, bending into that left leg so that our left bum comes down towards our heel, and as we do that, our right leg spins up so our right knee and our right toes are facing the ceiling. And if you can, keep your chest nice and proud here. Breathing into that opening in our right leg. Taking one more inhale. And then exhale, we're just going to spin our toes to face the front of the mat, and then walking forward, coming into a forward fold. Inhale to halfway lift, broken through the chest. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale to reach your arms up, ground down through your feet. And then exhale, hands forward, coming back into your forward fold. Inhale to halfway lift. And exhale, placing your hands on the mat, keeping your right foot where it is, placing your left leg back, and we're coming back into that runner's lunge, so deep bend in that right foot. If your hands don't quite make it and your block is handy, you can bring your hands onto your block. Squeezing those hips together, right hip back, left hip forward, squeezing them towards your belly button. And trying to really reach out to that back leg so your back leg becomes nice and light. And then dropping that back knee down on an inhale, we're going to rise up into our low lunge. So front knee is directly over your right ankle. Then bringing your block to the inside of your right foot here. Using the hamstring of our left leg, we're going to curl our left foot in towards our bum. And then with our right hand, we're going to reach back, and if we can, I can't find mine, there it is, grab the inner or outside edge of your foot. If you grab the outside edge, which is baby toe, you'll get a nice opening in your right shoulder. And if you have got your foot, you want to think about kicking your foot into your hand as much as your hand is pulling your foot back. So that nice active stretch that we talked about at the start. Taking one more breath here. And then exhale. If you have got your foot, slowly releasing it, not letting it ping back. Setting your mat off to setting your block off to the side. Hands down, stepping up, coming into your plank position here. Won't be here long. Picking up your left leg and bringing your left knee behind your wrist. Your leg is going to come at a 45-degree angle. So the toes of your left foot are going to point down to about 4 o'clock. And you're just going to scoot that right hip back a little bit. Coming into pigeon pose. So left knee bent, right leg nice and straight. Keeping your hips nice and equal here. So that idea we were talking about, right, one hip comes forward and the other hip comes back. So left hip comes back here, right hip comes forward. Taking an inhale here, and if you wish, starting to fold forward, coming into your sleeping pigeon. So we want to think about sending our right hip down towards our left heel. And as we do that twisting action, we start to open up even more in our left side. Taking some deep breaths here. And then exhale. If you came down, just slowly walking yourself up. And then just dropping down to the left side. And then swinging your right leg forward. So your right leg's going to come out in front of you. So it's going to be directly out in front. And then you're going to cross your left ankle above your right knee. So just like we did our reclined pigeon. Flexing your right toe. Taking a deep inhale, lifting from our waist. And then folding forward over that right leg. And if you want to increase the stretch in your left hip, you can simply slide that left leg along so that your knees kind of marry up. And then fold over, and it'll increase the opening in your left side. Keep flexing your right toes, so you're still getting a nice calf stretch here. And then in your next inhale, just walking your hands back forward, uncrossing your legs. Just give your legs a little wiggle. And then crossing over your ankles, rolling over, and coming back into your plank position. Really strong position here. Picking up your right leg this time, right knee is going to come behind the right wrist. Leg is going to come down to 45 degrees. And if you come into this position, this is enough, your right hip, you're welcome to stay. Or you can scoot that left hip back, and as you do that, it just allows more of your right leg to come down. And if you feel like your right leg is too far behind and you have a block, you can just basically pop your block just underneath your bum there. And then again, left hip forward, right hip back. And think about sending that left hip towards your heel if you want to come to bow down and come into your sleeping pigeon. And if you do come down to sleeping pigeon, keeping that activation of the direction you want your legs to go in. Keeping your breath with you. And if you need to sigh out any exhales, you can. Often that allows us to maybe sink into poses a little bit deeper. As I said, just get rid of anything that we don't need. Taking one more breath here. Then if you came down to your forearms, slowly start to make your way up. If you have a block under your right hip, just moving that out of the way, dropping to your right bum cheek, and then swinging that left leg round. Left leg's going to come directly in front, toes up, right ankle just above the left knee, letting that right knee drop down, and then coming into your forward fold from here, or if you want, stacking your knees on top of one another, so your right heel's coming in towards your bum here. And making sure you're nice and long in the spine before you fold forward, so keeping everything nice and long, keeping our length in our body, flexing those left toes. Keeping those breaths nice and long, visualizing sending your breath to wherever you're feeling this. Your breath is there to be used in this practice. Staying for one more inhale. If you can sink a little bit deeper, you can. Then exhale, slowly walking your hands back, lifting that right knee off the leg, just placing your legs on the mat and just swinging them from side to side just to loosen them off. And then coming into a cobbler's pose or Supta Baddha Konasana. So we're just going to bring the soles of our feet together here. And they can be as close or as far away from your body, just wherever's comfortable. And then if you can, bringing your hands onto your ankles, and as you do that, I want you to roll your shoulders back so you're opening through the chest, spine nice and long. And staying here, or if you think you can go a little bit further, taking an inhale on an exhale, keeping that spine nice and long, scooping that chest forward, and just bringing your chest down towards your feet. And just like I said with the strap earlier, we don't want to grab and pull ourselves into anything, so just letting the weight of your torso sink over your feet so you can feel that opening in your legs. I'm sure the weight of your torso and gravity is enough for you to feel that stretch. And just being a little more active with the knees. So think about not just your opening from your hips, think about you actually being able to push your outside of your knees down towards the mat as well. Just fire things up a little bit more. Keeping that chest nice and broad, nice and open, try not to collapse in. Taking one more breath here. Then exhale, slowly coming out of it. And just feeling all those sensations as you start to uncurl out of it. Placing your feet on the mat and then just windshield wipering one knee to one side, the other knee to the other side. And then just bringing your knees in towards your chest and then slowly letting your core kind of lighten up a little bit here. Lower yourself all the way down to the mat. And then we're going to come into that happy baby pose again, so bringing your feet up towards the ceiling, toes towards your face, bending your knees so that your knees are coming towards your shoulders, and grabbing the inner or outer edges of your feet or behind your thighs and sinking those knees down towards the ground, keeping your tailbone nice and long. And just noticing how this happy baby is feeling compared to the one we did at the start of class. So the one we did at the start, we'd already kind of started to work into our hips and our legs, and now we've done a bit more work. How does this feel? Do you feel any more open? Can you relax a little bit more in this posture? And just allowing yourself to be thankful for yourself for coming to your mat and allowing your body to feel these subtle differences. And just starting to close down our eyes. Letting our breath return to a normal pattern. Just staying here for 3 more breaths. And then once you've exhaled the 3rd breath, just bringing your knee back in towards your chest for one final quick hug before we come into Shavasana. So to come into your Shavasana, just unwinding your whole body. So placing your feet wide off your mat, letting your feet drop out to the side. If you feel you need to walk your feet more than mat width, you can. Rolling your shoulders down your back. And then something I've been doing recently that's really nice is clasp your fingers together, place them at the back of your skull, and then imagine you could pull your skull off your neck and then place your head back down on the mat, and you'll create all this space for the back of your neck. Bringing your hands down to your sides, spinning your palms up. And Shavasana isn't just the time in which we relax and we rest at the end of the practice. It is your reward. It's a time to also reflect on anything that maybe came up for you in your practice. Reflect on the sensations. And it's a time for our body to just reset. In yoga, we're constantly folding it, stretching it, moving it. In this pose, we are letting everything in our body fully relax. And if you aren't feeling that, I just encourage you to take a really deep breath in and then exhale out a sigh. And as you do that, let all your limbs become heavy. Sink down into your mat. Just taking a couple of moments quiet here.